Well, hello everyone. Now that I've managed to level out a bit, here are my belief pursuing thoughts on Naga the Cabin, a film by M. Night Shyamalan loosely based on The Cabin in the World, which definitely may not be my favorite film of his, but is at least worth watching and definitely has much more in common with older films than, and thankfully, some of the more infamous ones, so let's begin. Centered around a young couple and their daughter, her on vacation at their cabin, it turns out that they're invaded by four individuals who tell them that the world is going to end unless they choose one of them to die and prevent a cataclysm. And I have not read the book, but I gather who they end up choosing is different depending on this or the film. But like I did with Old a while back, any previous critique I had this movie is going to be self contained. And I'll say that even though it's not the first film I've seen in this premise or with a post apocalyptic scenario, oh, it definitely is anchored by strong performances from its central cast. In particular, the roles played by Dave Bautista and Rupert Grint, especially, where he's definitely come a long way from young Ron Weasley, and much like Daniel, he's definitely decided at this point in his life he has enough money when he's a kid, he can just do whatever he wants the rest of his own career. Yeah. I mean, this may not be my favorite film of his. I don't know, it's still good. Unbreakable, and I think I'll just include like the other two in that trilogy, like Split and Glass. He was divisive that last movie in some circles. But it is thankfully better than the more infamous entries as Over, which it's definitely a better apocalypse scenario than the Happening After Earth are. And after that one flopped, I definitely he can at least say that Night at least took the hint to realize a bit better was not his forte. It's much easier and more cost effective to have sit your movie in a bunch of people in a house slowly going mad and trying to tell whether or not it was actually ending. Won't go into too much detail about the actual circumstances, but once particularly laying down, it definitely made sense to me. I mean, even though the parallels at the end times are obvious, but they're also quite effective in the way they're delivered. I mean, when you realize that the invaders, as well as other concepts, is basically parallels to like the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I mean, fear here represented by the dread that the leads face, as well as who the leads are and why they're being targeted. Head, head. Famine represented by one of them being a chef and then their dwindling food supply. Pestilence represented by the locust that this kid's studying before she meets Batista's character. And yes, lots and lots of death. Can't really say that this is my favorite film of his. I'm still trying to determine exactly what kind of numerical rating I would give to it, but I would say, given how dire a lot of his other entries in this filmography are, it's probably his best one in a long time, if I may be totally honest. I'm definitely never going to hear Boogie Shoot the same way again after this movie. I'm still going to like the song, but it'll be kind of like hearing Huey Lewis after watching American Psycho, something like that. It also made a respectable $51 million worldwide on its modest $20 million budget, so this partnership with Jason Blum has borne quite a bit of fruit already. To do less is more. And anyway, that'll be all for now. And I'll definitely have some other videos in mind how close out this month. I'm also gonna have to bump my Dial of Destiny review up a couple days to early July. It'll still be with an opening weekend, thankfully, which I think it's gonna be a bit bigger than all the pundits are claiming. That'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.